This is the Steve Gruber Show.
All right, welcome to as we kick off another brand new hour here of the program. Got a lot of things I want to talk to you about here today. First, there's a deadly drug. This is number one this hour. A deadly drug stronger than fentanyl spreading rapidly across America. Nitazens, or nitazines, 10 times more potent than fentanyl. That's great. Number two, 6 of the 11 Walmart stabbing victims from Traverse City are now home, so that's heading in the right direction. And number three, I want to continue to look at what's going on in Texas. I want to look at what's going on in Texas because the Democrats have fled the state of Texas. They don't want to talk about redistricting. They don't. They don't want to talk about redistricting for some reason. Not quite sure why. But as a result, to avoid that, I mean, they know why. They might pick up 5 seats. The Republicans might if this goes through, right? And so instead of staying and representing their districts and doing what they're supposed to do, they fled. They fled altogether. And here's one of those Democrats, and they fled to Chicago. Which is, it's so ironic that they would flee to Illinois and hide behind Governor Pritzker, which, based on Governor Pritzker's size, they could probably all actually hide behind him. But Illinois is the most gerrymandered state in America. 40 to 45% of the state votes for Republicans, and yet just 15% of the members of Congress are Republicans. And Democrats want to complain about Texas? In California, it's 17% of the state represented by Republican members of Congress. That state also votes 40 to 45% Republican, and they want to complain about Texas. Here's one of the Democrats on the run claiming she cannot be held accountable, by the way, by the people of Texas. Here's what she said.
I'm a lawyer. A part of my practice is criminal defense work. There is no felony in the Texas Penal Code for what he says. So, respectfully, he's making up some okay? He's trying to get sound bites, and he has no legal mechanism. And if he did, subpoenas from Texas don't work in New York, so he gonna come get us how? Subpoenas in Texas don't work in Chicago. He's gonna come get us how? So, let me be clear. He's putting up smoke and mirrors, and I'm hopeful that the media doesn't follow that.
Yeah, well, the media is gonna follow that, and here's the thing. Not only can he charge with crimes, according to the Attorney General in Texas, but they can also remove them from their seats. Yeah. Ken Paxton is the Attorney General in Texas, of course. He says crimes can be committed. Greg Abbott, the governor, says they can remove them from their seats in Texas. That's right. Pretty remarkable, right? Don't want to show up and do your job? Cool. Then don't, but you don't necessarily have the chance to return to your seat because under the Texas Constitution, if you're not representing your district, you can be removed. They're considering those things now. The deadline was 3 o'clock Central Time yesterday to return to work. It's a special session of the Texas legislature. Even little Chuck Todd, you remember little Chucky Todd, the pretend journalist that got booted by NBC not long ago, says the Democrats running away from Texas is a terrible look and a not a great plan, shall we say. Listen to this.
It seems as if the strategy is bring more attention to this, make everybody uncomfortable, right? The more painful you make the process in Texas, the more it's hard to replicate. Maybe there isn't. They may be their own colleagues aren't as interested in this. Congressional Republicans that serve in Texas whose districts are actually going to get impacted negatively also secretly are kind of hoping this goes away too. And I think they think the more painful they can make this in doing it, maybe there's a way to shut this down. So I understand the strategy, and I think you get this. The part that I think is sort of bad, I think it's a bad look for a party that claims to be always trying to protect the democracy, is to hole up in a state that gerrymanders. The state of Illinois. I mean, one of the worst, look, Texas, Florida, Illinois, and Maryland. Those are your 4 giant gerrymandered states. And if you're trying to make a point on gerrymandering, I don't think I'd be going to the state of Illinois as a place to hide.
Yeah. The most gerrymandered state, there's the second most gerrymandered state, he missed it. California. Like I just mentioned, 17% of the congressional delegation from California is Republican, though the state votes 40 to 45% Republican, which means Republicans have no representation at all. Not to mention, most of California's delegation is bogus because it's flooded with illegals, and they have at least 7 or 8 seats in Congress they're not entitled to and don't deserve and should legally be prevented from having, but that's a story for a different day. Gavin Newsom, though, even though only 17% of his state is represented by Republicans, is ready to gerrymander even further to make sure no Republicans are ever in Congress from California. Listen.
Someone in 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. I go down the list. All of that is on the line here. It's not a gross exaggeration, not an exaggeration at all. Remember, the origin story here is Donald Trump made a phone call so familiar. Just out in the open, corruption at a whole nother level. Do not allow this to be normalized. Told Greg Abbott, I need you to find me, in this case, 5 representatives. These guys aren't screwing around. So I'm not here to, this is not an intellectual exercise. I'm not here to be a member of some think tank. We're here as pragmatists, practitioners. And I've got kids. I care deeply about the 250th anniversary of this great country that we'll celebrate next year. It's all at risk.
Yeah.
This guy's not screwing around, and nor are we.
Well, thank you for pointing out the obvious, Governor. It's not an intellectual exercise. Obviously, you're involved. How could it be an intellectual exercise? Gavin Newsom, he honestly thinks he's going to be the front runner for President of the United States. Everybody knows it's going to be AOC. Maybe it's going to be Zoran Memdani. Maybe he'll be the candidate. Maybe it'll be Bernie Sanders at the ripe young age of 103. Who knows? They sit there with a straight face and complain about Texas, while his state has 17% representation of Republicans in Congress. Well, it's all political. Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, it's all political, all right. That's how it works. Of course, it's political. Oh, good Lord. Anyhow. Let's see here. Who is up next? Let me take the magic sheet put together by Sister Sarah. Let's see. Christina Bobb is up next. You remember her, Trump attorney, has a brand new book coming out here in a couple of weeks. We'll talk to her about that straight ahead here on the raid on Mar-a-Lago. Coming up on the Steve Gruber Show.